What I forgot to say about mammoth is there was a very amusing anecdote. You see here the mammoth with only half of their costume, without their hat, and you can see the sort of harness on which their tusks are built. And the first time I saw one, I was coming back from scouting in Reykjavik, and I stopped in Manchester, I think, where the Jimmy Chipperfield Circus had its tents and animals. And I remember my set designer telling me, "You're going to see now your first mammoth. You're going to see how impressive it is." So they stop the car. I get out, and they roll up the side of the circus tent, and here it is. Here is a very peaceful elephant dressed up with his tusk and its hairy coat. And it even, starts screaming and moving a little bit. And suddenly they say, well, listen, there is even more than one. And they open the opposite side of another tent that was on the other side of the path. And here comes a second mammoth, as splendid as the first one. Unfortunately, what we had not planned is the first mammoth never seen a mammoth in his life. He'd never seen himself in a mirror, but never seen any other mammoth. So now he's freaking out. He's never seen such a frightening creature, and decides to run out. And he was chained, but now he pulls his chain, pulls the peg, pulls the other chain that was attached to one of the poles that was holding the tent, and starts running in the street. Now the second elephant had never seen something as frightening as a mammoth, and is doing exactly the same. Now I see this horror story of my two first mammoths lost in the suburb of Manchester and disappearing at the corner of the street. We had to call the police. We had, and of course, they not only destroyed their costume, they ate the costume. They liked it, but ate it. So that is, after this anecdote, we realized that not only we had to train the elephant to wear the costume, but we had to train the elephants to look at each other, which we had to do for another 4 months. This rather terrifying picture shows this unfortunate animal that was sinking in the mud, and we had to take him off this mud. It's what happened is they saw their tent home on the other side of this marsh, and instead of running towards the camera where the female was calling them, they decided to see the female when it was a bit warmer and run towards their tent, and they took the shortcut through those marshes that were quite wet. Fortunately, nothing happened to them, but we were all very worried. Here you see, what we used to do is we had what we used to call the circus for the elephants. So they would be partly dressed under their tent, and they would be walked in a line towards the set where we would put their tusk and their hat and mask.